Welcome to this demonstration of the Woven Learning Drone application. Today I'll be walking you through the complete process of setting up and operating the Woven Drone using the Woven Learning Drone app that we've built for you guys. It's pretty exciting. We're going to walk you through powering it on to flying it, and you're going to fly it manually, and you're also going to fly it by programming it. So first, make sure you power on the drone. So you got to plug in that battery, make sure the battery's connected to the drone with the rubber bands or another method, whichever you've figured out. And then you need to connect your laptop to the drone's Wi-Fi. So I covered all this in the previous video on building the drone. So go ahead and go back and watch that video. Once you're connected, then you can open up the Woven drone application, and we're going to get started with the manual control section. So I want to jump straight into manual control, and what you're going to see is a few buttons: back to home, connect. It's going to tell us what the left controls do and right controls do. So we're going to click connect. Again, this is after we've already connected our drone to the Wi-Fi on the laptop. So the drone is connected to the laptop, and now we also need to click connect into in this app as well. Once we're connected in manual, now we can press the keys like W, S, A, D, all these sort of keys to move the drone around, the up, down, left, and right. And you'll see that it's all about, increasing thrust or pitching it forward, backward, that sort of thing. This is a great time for you to learn the characteristics of your drone. You built it, and it's going to fly differently from everyone's. It depends on where you've placed the battery, and if you have additional weight or anything you've done that really changes your drone or makes it unique to its own flight abilities or flight kind of patterns. So play around with this. I'm going to recommend that when you press these keys, you don't hold them down. I'm going to recommend that you kind of tap, 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 just like that. And then you're going to see like what you need to do to fly your drone. So in other words, if you just hold W, it's just like full throttle in a car. And sometimes that's not the best thing to do. I'm going to recommend for all of these that you start really easy on the drone and then work your way up. So start to where it either is like not quite taking off and you see the blade spinning and it's trying to move, to where it's hovering just like a foot or 2 or 3 off the ground before you take off and really, take it up much higher. So once we're done with manual control, I expect you're going to spend a lot of time on this particular section of the app. You need to click disconnect and then back to home. And then before we go to Flight Planner, let's pop over to setup, because setup is really for the programming section of the for the app. So in the setup, we again have a connect, and this is going to give us an opportunity to really play around with the takeoff thrust. Now that you've learned more about thrust with the manual control, you're going to want to adjust this. A fully charged battery for your drone is going to need less thrust than a battery that's been running for a few minutes and the voltage is dropping. You're going to need to have more thrust for takeoff, but also for hover. The more thrust for hover, it's not going to necessarily hover. It's going to be continuing to gain elevation, so go up, right? And if you decrease it too much, if you have your takeoff thrust really high and it goes up, 10 feet, let's say, and you have hover thrust really low, it's just going to keep dropping. And maybe that's how you want to program it. Once you have your thrust set, you can adjust the duration for each of these to test it out, right? This is just the setup before you do the coding or the programming section. And then you click down here to run the sequence. Once it's done and you're fine with it or you're not fine, but you can click disconnect and then go back to home. And then let's pop over to Flight Planner to see what Flight Planner is all about. Again, another connect button. So let's click connect, and you'll see the run button. Run program button here, and over here is our actual sequence. So takeoff and land will always be there, but after we take off, let's have it move forward, and we can have it by clicking advanced settings. We can adjust the thrust of moving forward, so that's going to actually make it move forward and go up, right? If we increase the thrust, it's going to be increasing or gaining elevation. We can add things like rotate left, and it's just going to keep stacking into our sequence here. And if we don't like something, we just click the little trash can and get rid of it. If you don't see these little sliders here, you just need to click up here on advanced settings. They make them appear and disappear. So my recommendation again is to start easy with it. Start low, like do the takeoff sequence low, 50 to 60% maybe. You need to really see what works best for your drone. And then, you know, adjusting like the duration. I wouldn't go very long, but you don't want to go 500 milliseconds. That's you know, half of a second. Sometimes it's not possible to really tell how the drone is doing in half of a second. So you need to give it a second, 2 seconds, something like that, so you can see how it's doing. The MS is milliseconds, so 2,000 milliseconds is 2 seconds. And then yaw, which would be the turning, basically, the rotating on its center axis. Once you have what you want, you click Run Program. You'll see it count down until it's done. And you'll get to, you know, keep messing with this and keep trying out different programming to really find out how it works best for your drone. You're probably going to want to make notes. So from day to day, you'll be able to say, okay, yeah, brand new battery. We got to do thrust at 59 or 58 to really, you know, get it to that sweet spot. When you're done with this, you click disconnect and then go back to home. And here we are back at the sort of the home page, and that's it.